Book 7 was Why We Sleep by Matthew Walker. People have been raving about this book and saying how good it is and how amazing it is, and so my expectations of it were pretty high, and all the ratings online are like 4.5 out of 5, and I'm like, this must be a good book. And I started listening to it on audio and I was like, so far this isn't very good. The beginning bit starts off talking about sleep in general, so the difference between NREM sleep and REM sleep, the different stages of sleep, so you know, and in actual fact it doesn't go into that much detail about the stages of sleep in terms of like the different brainwave patterns and stuff. Like, it could have gone into more detail there. And it mentioned, you know, the work of Kleitman, the Benton Kleitman studies, which I actually used to teach on the old psychology spec. So I know quite a bit about the sleep already. Like, the stuff that was being taught about was kind of stuff that I already knew, and I already knew about REM sleep, and I kind of watch documentaries on sleep as well, so later on it starts talking about like sleep dysfunctions. So again, I already kind of was aware of things like that. But basically this book is saying, like, if you don't sleep 7, 8, 9 hours a night, then you're gonna die sooner than what you anticipated. So 10 years of something it said that was knocked off your life. If you don't get enough REM sleep, you don't learn very well, you don't remember stuff, you get mental illness, so you know, things like anxiety, depression, stress all have roots in sleep deprivation. It talks about how our lifestyle changes mean that we suffer more insomnia. We find it very, very difficult to get to sleep, very difficult to stay asleep, and we wake up earlier than what we want. Saying things like drinking too much caffeine, and how you shouldn't really be having caffeine 8 hours before you go to sleep. So that means that you can't really have caffeine after like 3 p.m. In fact, sooner than that, like, you know, after midday is probably a no-no to get caffeine, because it takes 8 hours to get out of your system, so depending on what time you go to sleep. But you know, if you want to get 8 hours, that's going to be quite early. You know, like, some of us have to get up really, like, I have to get up at 5:30 in the morning, and the only reason I get up that early is because if I get up later than that, I stress myself out trying to rush around getting ready. Like, I like to get ready slowly so that I'm not stressed. You know, I like to kind of wake up, you know, have my breakfast and eat it in a leisurely pace, not ramming it down my throat. So for me, like, I have to get up at 5:30. I have to leave the house, you know, to get to work pretty early so that I avoid traffic. So if I don't do that, then you know, I'm stressed before I even get to work, and driving is quite stressful anyway when you're in, you know, you're driving for like an hour. So yeah, I don't want to add on to that by being stressed when I'm trying to get ready. So for me, that would mean I'd have to go to sleep at like 9:30 every night. Like, who would do that? Like, you know, you finish work at 6. You know, if you want to say I've got to drive into town, that'll take me till 7, and then what? I've got like an hour to spend with my friends before I've got to drive home, because I need to get ready for, you know, and then that's no time to eat or, you know, shower or like exercise or anything. Like leaves you with no time to have a life whatsoever. So it's a little bit like, what am I supposed to do? Like, like I'm choosing not to sleep so that I can have a life, but then my life's going to be over sooner anyway. But then it's like, well, you know, I would much rather have not enough sleep, have a life, die sooner, than not have a life and live longer. So, you know, that's kind of the toss-up, isn't it? I think the book kind of neglects that. Like, people would probably choose to have a life and die sooner than the opposite way around. But having said that, you've got to then put up with mental health problems. Like, you want to have a life, you've got to have mental health issues with it. You can't have both. So it's like, the book just made me feel like, oh, right, my life's going to be like complicated just so that I can have one. I'm just actually opening up to see what other things it talks about. It's kind of like, it was talking about loads of different things, but at the end of it all, it was like, we'll just get more sleep. Like, that was the kind, it could have literally been condensed into a shorter book, because, you know, a lot of it, yeah, there were pieces of research that backed up what it was saying, but a lot of it was anecdotal, and a lot of it was just discussion and kind of like, oh, I'm a sleep, what did he say, sleep scientist or whatever. And it's like, you've done a few studies on sleep, and it was like, he kind of was given like a lot of percentages, like, oh, it increases the risk by 100%, by 200%, whatever. And it's like, as if he was trying to kind of, I don't know, confuse the reader by putting all these kind of numbers there. when it was like, is that really, a lot of the studies as well are on mice, they're not on humans, so it was like, is that really like transferable across? I did find it really interesting when he was talking about like tribes people and how you can't compare how much sleep they naturally get to how much sleep we get. So that was an interesting kind of discussion point. I already knew that you could die from not getting enough sleep because of sleep deprivation studies that I'd been aware of before, and I knew that REM sleep was really good for consolidation of memories and stuff like that. So you know, that wasn't kind of that interesting. It was talking as well about don't take sleeping oh, it started playing. Don't take sleeping tablets because they just completely mess up your sleep because of the levels in your brain that then stop you from sleeping, and you not actually get, although it's you are sleeping, you're not getting the quality of sleep that you need. So don't take sleeping tablets. Try, they mention as well actually CBTI, which is CBT for insomnia, so I hadn't heard about that, so that was really good. You know, so if you are struggling with sleep and stuff, maybe look into that and figure out what that is. It's like kind of analysing the things which are the thought processes and stuff, that are the anxiety around why you're not sleeping. And he was suggesting as well that maybe in the future you'll get like technology that will have the room temperature the right level for you to be able to sleep, and the light sensors in the room will help you to kind of like wake up and have your circadian rhythms in balance. So it was a really kind of optimistic ending in the future people will have this sorted, but at the moment now we've got to kind of just like put up with the fact that our sleep's messed up, that it's causing all these problems for us. So I guess if you don't know anything about sleep, then you may find it interesting. I would assume that there's probably other books out there that are a little bit more interesting, and a little bit more like in detail. I feel like it's one of those ones that skates over the top again, trying to consolidate a lot of research in the area that's more of an introductory into it rather than a kind of exciting like this is a new piece of research or anything groundbreaking. It's basically if you don't sleep enough you are causing a massive detriment to yourself in many various different ways. So next time you think, oh, I'll only get that many hours sleep, rethink it, because you're actually having really negative impacts.